I'm really excited today to have Dr. Arlen Hill with me today because, first of all, he's a clinical director for Biotics Research Corporation, and he's the guy when doctors have questions. Ultimately, you get Dr. Hill, and so to have you alive and in the flesh is really fun for me. So thanks for joining us today. SBO is such a huge topic, and unfortunately, we've got some great success with SBO, but unfortunately, patients relapse, and you are a very important part of phase two that we've needed for a long time, and I wonder if we could talk a little bit about it. First of all, why phase two, and some of the statistics that go along with it.
Yeah, relapse when it comes to SIBO is really the centerpiece of the conversation now. This is really where the conversation is at in regards to long-term management for SIBO. It's recognized now that there is a consistent pattern where patients undergo a treatment, whether that's from a conventional model or from more use of botanicals to achieve that decontamination in the small intestine. But if we stop there, then truly the patient is being set up for failure. Roughly half of the patients out there that undergo treatment for SIBO, within 9 months, they're going to relapse. They're going to be right back where they were. Clinical observation says that time frame is probably actually even shorter than 9 months. And we recognize that if we don't move past this first phase, past this antimicrobial phase into a phase two, then the process is incomplete. So we need to think about SIBO from a new direction now. The desire to have lasting microbial balance cannot end at phase one. It can't end when the antimicrobials are complete. Because truly, this is where we see the cyclic response from the patient that in a matter of time, and this is not a matter of if they're going to relapse, it's a matter of when are they going to relapse. And the reason that we can be emphatic about that is because the dysfunction that set the SIBO up in the first place still hasn't been resolved. And so when practitioners and patients working together get to the end of that antimicrobial phase, they have a decision to make. They're at a crossroads, and they can either make the decision to leave it alone and watch it relapse, or transition into phase two, where we are looking to try to regain and to optimize motility in the bowels. And so this is where, when we start to think about the causes of SIBO, now we have to dig deeper and actually look at what are the drivers of SIBO. And there's two core components to this. There's digestive secretions and there's motility. And digestive secretions can be better defined and stated as the gastric acid, the hydrochloric acid in the stomach, the pancreatic enzymes, and the bile acids from the gallbladder. Now that's the first part. That's the digestive secretions. The second part of this is going to be motility, meaning that the contents of the small intestine stay there for only as long as they need to, and then they continue to move inferior down into the large intestine. If that process is slowed down, whether that's a byproduct of medications, for example, PPIs, opioids, antibiotics, these commonly used medications, whether that's the changes in the gastric secretions are secondary to, for example, weight loss surgeries or just general stress or chronic conditions that patients have, these are the drivers that set individuals up for phase two, or for SIBO, and that are not being addressed without support for phase two. So we really, Joe, are proposing a completely new direction to achieve microbial balance. When someone is sitting at that crossroads now, we're giving them the strategy to move into that phase two and to take that patient ultimately to a lasting microbial balance. And so the way that we have designed the process to achieve that introduces our SBO Kit Phase 2, conveniently named. And this is going to target the acid, the enzymes, the bile, and it's going to support motility. And so the way that it's going to go about doing that, it are through three products. And the acid and the enzymes, that is going to be accomplished. The replacement of those will be accomplished by hydrozymes. So you'll get a little bit of betaine hydrochloride in there, some pancreatic enzyme support. And it's important that those be given together because within the normal physiology of the body, you need the acid to actually trigger the enzyme release. And so without those two working together, both are going to be inhibited and it's going to be suboptimal digestion. So that's acid and enzymes, hydrozyme. Beta plus is going to be our support for introducing bile acids. And then motility-zyme, some artichoke, ginger, small amount of magnesium coupled with some 5-HTP to nurture a more functional approach towards motility versus maybe a more traditional laxative or stimulatory strategy. That's not ideal either. And in that phase 2 kit, we deliver this with a guidebook so that they can see the exact outline of how the process is going to carry out and how they can be successful. And what we recommend with this, Joe, is that they look at a 10-month time frame here. And so let me break that down, because remember, relapse for about half of individuals happens within 9 months. But we know that we need to control the overgrowth initially. So we look at a 30-day time frame, 1 month, to control that initial overgrowth. And then we're going to support the digestive secretions and the motility for the following 9 months to get them past that time frame and to put them on a pattern towards lasting microbial balance.
So one of the things I love about it is, first of all, we know that we have to change the diet. If people don't change the diet, and anybody can do it for a while, but if they're committing to a 90-day program first of all, and then a 9-month program, that's going to get all the simple carbs out, and a lot of the things are going to go down just because of reducing those carbohydrates. But I like the fact that it's a kit and that people can start with something and they can add products as needed. It looks to me. And they take one with each meal. They take a hydrozyme, a beta plus, and a motility-zyme with each meal, so you're not overloaded. So it's exciting. I think this is going to be a very successful thing for physicians, and I think it's something they'll be able to integrate into their practices relatively easily.
Well, maybe just to have a closing comment here, this is something that we've been trialing with individual products over a period of time now, right? So we have feedback, we have experience with implementing these, but as you alluded to, they're in a kit. Kits create convenience, and that's what we're after for the patient. We want success.
Dr. Hill, thank you very much, and we're going to have you back to talk about some further clinical results. Appreciate it.
Absolutely. Thank you, Joe.